to episode 7 of the These Little Hands podcast. My name is Millicent and I'm coming to you from Johannesburg, South Africa, and this is a podcast about knitting, sewing, other crafty things that I like. And today we have a little guest. Her name is Stella. She's a little bit shy, but I am in a new location for those of you who have watched the podcast. And I just hello, Nolaki. So you can see she's very shy, but she will be sitting here with us today. She's a whippet, and she's named after Stella McCartney, and she is one of the biggest joys of my life. So today I have quite a few finished objects to show you. The first is the one that I am wearing, which is my Chances wrap by Charlotte Bory of the Charlotte and Gus Knitting podcast. It is a 4-color brioche wrap, so you can see the 2-color brioche there with the blue and the different color in between, and on this other side the different color is there and the blue is in between. So it goes through with using different variations of brioche stitches. I really enjoyed it. It's my first time ever I've knitted brioche. It's very long, so I'm going to fold it double so that you can get an idea. So this is the length of it when it's double. So it's more like a scarf. I think you would get more width out of it if you block it a little bit more. I didn't block it as aggressively because I just like the squishiness. What else can I say about this? I went down a needle size because your tension with brioche is a little bit looser, which is normal, but I wanted it to be a little bit more squishy. I really like that, so I knitted this on my Knit Pro Zings 4.5 millimeters. Yes, and the yarn I used is, I've spoken about that before, so you can go back in the episode, or you can just check out my project page for this. So I have everything on there, and I loved the yarn. All of the yarn that I used in this has a silk content, all 4 of the different ones. One of them has a little bit of stellina in it as well, and the rest of the content is mohair. Not mohair, what am I saying? Is merino. Yes, so it has an applied I-cord edging, which for some reason I struggled with. I don't know why, because I've done I-cords before, but I just couldn't get the instruction. And it's nothing to do with the pattern. It has completely to do with me not concentrating. So I asked Charlotte for help, and she was so kind as to help me. I felt so stupid when I saw what you were supposed to do. It's very simple. What's really nice is, obviously, because you change colors quite frequently, you have a lot of ends. But because of the I-cord, you can just hide them in there and you don't have to weave them in. Yes, so this is the double knit version. When you buy the pattern, you also included is a fingering weight version. Her instructions are very, very clear, and I didn't have any difficulty understanding it, even though I've never done brioche before. And yes, I really, really love it. If you see me looking down, I have my show notes on my lap so that I don't forget some of the things I wanted to share with you. So that one is finished, and I really like it. As I don't know if I mentioned this, but we are going into spring and summer soon here in South Africa, so I'll probably wear this more next year. But that is what I also like doing. I like doing things for the next season while I am in that season. So yes, the amount of yarn I have left is not that much at all. These 2 were 100 grams, so this is quite a bit still, so what I can use for something, but this is almost finished. This is the one with the stellina. And then the 2 other colors were only 50-gram balls, and this is what I have left of them. So, yes, and I keep all my leftovers in this project bag that I sewn recently. It has owls on it and ice creams, and on the inside it has little rabbits. So I keep all my leftover yarn in there. And then I will also put a link in here for the I-cord tutorial that I used on YouTube. That was really helpful for me. And yes, so let me show you finished object number 2. I showed you this before. I knitted this a long time ago. I think it was in either 2010 or 2011. But I definitely bought this book in Victoria, in Canada, in 2010. So I knitted this soon after that. And then I don't know what, I didn't know how to apply the lining. And I just left it in my cupboard and I've sort of forgot about it. But it is a hoodie. There we go. So I haven't worn it yet because, as I say, and then what's really nice about it is if you wear it like this, it can work as a cowl. Let me just sort this out. There we go. You can wear it as a cowl. I don't know what the yarn is. I had a look in my stash and I did have another ball left, but I don't have the ball band for that. So yes, this is what it looks like. And I think it's going to be perfect for a specific coat that I have. I will try and insert a picture here. I have a coat that doesn't have a collar and it's often quite cold in the winter. So it is lined with fabric, you can see there, and I'll show you a little bit how I did it. This boutique knits book by Laura Irwin, and it's called Hoodie Divine or Hoodie Devoted. So here is the image. So they do give you a pattern for the hoodie to cut out, but you have to blow it up 500 times and my printer can't do that, etc. So what I did is so it looked like that, right? So I put it down on a piece of paper and then I drew around it, okay? And then I took the measurements that they show in the pattern because they give you what the actual size is, and I drew that and added a 1 centimeter seam allowance. Then I basted the seam allowance all around, and then I took my sewing machine and my blind hem foot and the blind hem stitch, and I stitched it in. You can barely see the stitches over there, but that worked really well because you can't see the stitches. I mean, you can see a little bit of a line there, but it doesn't bother me, and so I stitched it in. And that worked really, really well. So it's stitched here around the bottom, all the way around, and in the front. And I really love it. So it has cables and bobbles, and then it has this, so it's red, and then it has a yellowish thread in it and a greenish thread. And then you knit an I-cord that goes through, and you just attach the tassels. So yes, I am really happy that this is finished and I'm looking forward to wearing it. Okay, my third finished object is also one you've seen before. I told you it will be done. I finished it yesterday and I haven't woven in the ends yet, so I will do that while this podcast is uploading. This is my Dolly shawl by Toby Roxanne Designs, and it is gigantic. Can you see? So it is not, the pattern is not this large, but I wanted it to be big and I wanted it to be something that covers me almost like a wrap. So I just continued with this part until the yarn was almost done, and then I did this part. So both of these are the Rowan Fine Art yarn. I know this one is the tawny color, and I'm not sure about this one, but it is on my project page. I'm happy with it. There's a few things. So when I saw the pattern, I really loved it and I loved the way it looked. I wish that this color that I used was a little bit more solid, because what I liked about it was the contrast. I mean, it still has a big contrast, but anyway, so, and I wish that the colors were a little bit brighter. Um, but I do still like it. It goes with my wardrobe. As you can see, it's much bigger than my wingspan. And I think I will get a lot of wear out of it. And I like the way it looks. Yeah, so it's very big. It's very simple pattern, so that's really nice. And then yesterday when I did these drop stitches, so it's the first time I did this where you drop the stitches. And I actually think I prefer it without the drop stitches, but there's no way I'm going to pick it up all of it again. And the more I look at it, the more it's growing on me. So yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's going to work really well with my wardrobe. I think in my mind I had a image of what I wanted it to look like, and it doesn't look exactly like that, but it doesn't mean it's not really great. And I mean, if you wear it like this, the yarn is really, really soft. It also has a silk content, and it's going to be very warm, which is nice. So I really like that. Yeah, so that is also finished. I knit these on Knit Pro Cubics on 4 millimeters. I'm not sure what the pattern calls for, but as again, everything is on my project page. Okay, so on to works in progress. If you've watched before, you know that I have a million projects on my needles, which is something I'm trying to work on. But what seems to happen is for every project I've finished, I cast on another one. So what I'm going to try to do is cast on a new one, because I do want to cast on new things. Knitting should be fun, and I don't want to set a whole lot of boundaries for myself, because I do it for fun. I don't have to be accountable to anybody what I do in terms of my knitting, but I also want the finished objects. So I'm going to cast on new things and finish, and then pick up another old work in progress. So this one I showed you last week. I'm just quickly going to show you again. It is in my so this is when I knit a big sweater. This is the bag I use. It is a McCall's pattern, and you can look for the details on the first episode. So last week I showed you my Enya cardigan. This is the back. I finished the left front. So I will be starting with the right front, and then the sleeves, and then the button band. And it is from this book. So it's not the most recent round book, it's the one just before that. And the designer is Maury Wallen, which is one of my, between her and Martin Story, they always have patterns that I really like. So there is the cardigan. This is a really nice TV knit because it's just simple. You use two colors together, so the purple goes right through, and then pink and orange. You can see my little dragon stitch mark over there that I made. Oh, there's another dragon on the other side marking. So I've used my dragon stitch markers on here, which I love. So that is going quite well. And then after I finished all these three projects, I cast on a new project. It is the Shockwaves pattern by Beate Jezek, I think. It is a free pattern on the Hedgehog Fibers website. So it is a big wrap, and it uses variegated yarn. So I have a few random balls of variegated yarn that I just got either as a gift or that I just love the colors. And I am planning to use 4 colors in this. So I cast this on yesterday. This is Rowan Fine Art as well. This is the Kingfisher colorway, and you can see my unicorn stitch mark over there. So I'm using bamboo needles, and I'm using straight needles because that is my preference. I only have the blue in here. I haven't decided what other colors I'm going to use. And then I have a little Alice in Wonderland booklet that I use to make notes. So this pattern is just a 2-row repeat, and I just wrote down the pattern in here, and I'm knitting it like that. So this is also a project bag I made. It has this butterfly fabric you've seen many times. So it has a horse and carriage on it, and a dog and flowers. It has a little button on the side, and on the inside the fabric is thimbles. I think it's called thimbles. Yes. So I really like this bag. So that is my new project. And the other project I'm going to pick up again, because I really want it to be finished for the summer, is my Yonkili cardigan. You've seen this before, maybe in the first episode, but this is the back. So it is a cropped cardigan, but I'm quite short, so it is not that cropped. It's not going to be that cropped. And let me just get up quickly. So you can see if I hold it like that, it's going to be right on the edge of my high-waisted pants, which is exactly what I wanted. So in the summer I wear a lot of skirts and dresses, and they're all high-waisted, and then it's difficult to find a cardigan that goes with it. I love this pattern. This is knit out of Rowan Summerlight 4-ply cotton. It is so soft, and this is where I am with the front. So I think I finished the rib, and I'm going to start with the pattern now. And hopefully by the time I podcast again, this would be done. And let me see, this is, in here is I have a random notebooks that I got as presents. So this is a Paris notebook. It has sort of like a map of Paris. And then this color is they didn't put it on here, or I don't see it right now, but it is on my project page. And this is a project bag I made earlier in the year. Because I often use straight needles, I often make my bags a little bit wider. So this fabric is made by a Japanese designer. You can see there are castles on the bottom. There's a castle, and there's deer and castles. So it's very whimsical. I love this fabric. And then with my machine, I knit on here, knit all the things. Knit all the things. It goes around. So that it's living in this project bag. Okay. So I think that is it for my whips. Let me just make sure. Yes. And then I want to show acquisitions. It is gifts. I didn't buy any yarn recently that I want to show you. But I have two things that I'm planning. And with that, I'm going to show you my acquisition. So this shop, Snurra, I don't know how you pronounce that, is in Finland, and I think it is in Helsinki. And I have a lovely friend with very good taste that went to the shop for me. And he came back with, I'm going to have to rescan this because I took it out to see it. So, I am in possession of hedgehog fibers, which for somebody who's in South Africa is really quite wonderful because I can't get it locally. And shipping, already the rand pound or rand dollar or rand euro, it was probably euro, exchange rate is quite significant. So, and then I have to add the shipping, and then I have to add the import costs. So becomes quite impossible for me to have this. So this is really very special. And this is the colorway. So it's the Film Nior colorway. Look how gorgeous this is. So it has pinks in there and black and the natural sort of color. So I am so excited about this. I don't have a plan for it yet. I definitely want to make something really special with it. And there is a shawl by the designer of Junk Yarn. Kemper, I think is her name. That I might consider with it, but then I will need another color to go with it. So yes, so that is the first one. It's on the sock yarn base. It is 90% superwash merino, and it's the Film Nior colorway. Okay, then the next one he got me, he says it's just simple yarn, which is fine, but it comes from the Faroese Islands. So it is made and produced and everything on the Faroese Islands, and I'm going to insert a picture here. I didn't know anything about the Faroese Islands, but this is really special. So it's 100% pure new wool. I don't know what new wool means. It's 500 grams. It looks to be double knit. I can't understand the language on here, but yeah, so I'm definitely going to use this in a cardigan of some sort. It's a lovely green. It's a little bit brighter than it's showing up on the screen there. And then the last one, as if one wasn't enough that he got me, is this one. So it is not anything I can pronounce. So when he explained it to me, that name at the top there, this is the translation. So it's Knit Lob's Lair. And then the base is that name, which is a story, local, like what is the word? Like a folk tale, if I understand correctly. So this is the base. So it's 75% wool, 25% nylon, 100 grams. And the colorway is that name over there, but it is birch trees. So this was inspired by birch trees. So what I am thinking of making is I'm very into brioche, and there's a pattern that I will insert a picture here. It's called Les Zebes by Bristol Ivy, and I'm considering, because it's named after birch trees, to do this with a green. So this is a little bit more green than it's showing up there in a brioche pattern. I also have this more brighter green. The colors are a little bit softer in this light than they are in real life. But so that is what I'm planning to do with this yarn. So I'm very grateful for a friend that got me this lovely yarn. Yeah, I almost cried when I got it. Okay, and then my other plan is, in one of my previous episodes, I showed you guys that I have these two beautiful skeins of yarn. Again, the color is blown out. Let me just sit back a bit. There we go. Okay, the color was blown out a little bit, but it's pinks and purples, but it's very soft. And this is Hartlam, which is a local yarn, and it is fingering weight. It's 55% blue face leicester and 45% silk, so it has quite a high silk content, and it has 400 meters on it. So I was looking and looking for a pattern that I can use. Obviously it's too much for a shawl, but I wanted to knit a cardigan, but it's not enough for a big cardigan, etc. But I found a cardigan by Hannah Fettig called Water's Edge. So I'm going to insert a picture here, and this is one I'm planning to cast on with these two yarns. So hopefully by the next time I podcast, this would be on the needles. Okay, I think that is it for the knitting. And now we are going to go into the sewing segment. Okay, let me show you what I have been sewing. So I have one finished object. This is also what you saw last week. Oh, last time, not last week. My skirt. I'm going to close this and just get up. That I completed. So it is a high-waisted skirt with large pockets, and it goes all the way down. So I drafted the pattern. I first drafted a block, and then I designed the skirt on a picture that I saved on my Pinterest. So you can see that I used covered buttons. So you can see that the buttons are not in the center, right? But when you wear it, it is in the center. Okay, so that is something you have to consider when you add your buttons to your buttonhole. The one thing I'm a little bit, I would say, irritated about is I asked her, I go to sewing classes, right? So I asked her which way the buttonholes must be. And I thought they had to be down, because then you don't get this pulling out of the center line. And she said, no, I must do it like this, because then it doesn't gape as much. But now you have this problem. It's fine. When I wear it, you don't see it, but I think it would be better to do them straight down. This one, around your waist, where you need a little bit more ease for wearing, I think is fine like this. But the others I could have done straight down, and I wouldn't have had to move that. So there's two pleats at the back. There's a waistline. Something I learned that I wanted to share with you. So if you draft a pattern for a skirt and you do the waistline, you just have a straight band. But then often the fit, because your waist goes like this, right? So then what you do is you divide your waistband into 4 pieces, and you cut that on the line that you have divided it. You're going to cut the band, and then at the top you cross it over 0.5 centimeter and open it up at the bottom 0.5 centimeter, which gives you a curve instead of just a straight band, and that really helps with the fit. So I love it. It's definitely a winter skirt. It's very modern. I like the way it looks on. I haven't worn it yet because I just finished it a week ago. So that is done. And my plans for my sewing was, for the rest of the year, was to do 1 pair of pants, 1 dress, 1 shirt and 1 skirt, because then I have blocks for everything, because I have a jacket block. So next up is a shirt. So I have this piece of fabric, very busy fabric, but it's very, very soft. I have enough for a long sleeve shirt with a collar. Or what I'm thinking of doing is just to have a V-neck shape with buttons down and cuffs. And then why I really want to use this fabric is actually because of the buttons. So a long time ago I got these buttons. They look like the little daisies. They remind me of that Marc Jacobs perfume, the daisy one. So I think that is gonna look really good with this fabric, and it goes very well with my wardrobe. I often wear plain pants, and actually the jeans I'm wearing now will go really well with this fabric. And then the skirt I'm going to make is going to be out of this fabric. It's sort of a grey fabric. And then I have two fabrics for the dress, but the one I'm going to do first I think is going to be this one. So not a lot in terms of sewing, but with sewing I don't have a lot of works in progress. With sewing I just finish one thing at a time, because it's a little bit more involved and changing the threads and so forth. Yeah, so I'm really happy with this skirt. Yeah, it does look like the buttons are shifted, but it really is not. When I'm wearing it, it's fine, you'll see. I'll take a picture at some point of me wearing it. Okay, that is it from me. Thank you so much for tuning in and for joining me and for all your nice comments. And please connect with me on my Ravelry group or on Instagram. All the details are below this group, below the video, and please subscribe to the channel. I really enjoy spending time with you and I love sharing my projects with you. Enjoy your day and I will see you in about 3 weeks' time. Bye!